It sounds like something out of a horror movie. A man in Pennsylvania is in jail, accused of trying to kill his estranged wife by stabbing her with a pick. And guess what they found on this guy? KY jelly, zip ties, duct tape, knives, wire cutters, and a court order, among other things. Police in Montgomery County call it a murder-suicide kit, citing some of the things that Geoffrey Kay-Conway wrote. Kay-Conway had already been charged with stalking his estranged wife. According to police, Conway wrote on the court order with his next court date of December 13th on it, quote, "I have 1.5 months to kill that B word. Could have killed her 17 times if I wanted. What a weak system." And yes, he spelled weak incorrectly. The district attorney in Montgomery County says Conway was stalking the woman and caught up with her on Sunday in the parking lot of a Walmart after he attached a GPS unit to her car without her knowing. Police say Conway stabbed the woman several times in the leg, and thankfully she survived. There were some people who came to her aid to help her. Police say Conway also wrote a letter to his brother, saying he was going to kill his wife after raping her and that she totally underestimated me. He also planned to take his own life. Kay-Conway is right now being held without bail. You really can't make this stuff up. I'm Angenette Levy. It's Tuesday, and this is Crime Fix, Law&Crime's rundown of the top stories in the world of crime. A sadistic man who filmed himself stealing and torturing animals will spend more than a year behind bars. A judge sentenced 37-year-old Nikola Katansky after he posted videos to Facebook of him torturing and killing a lamb and 2 chickens. In at least one of the videos, Katansky's youngest son is in the background. During his sentencing, Katansky said he was struggling with mental health issues and a synthetic marijuana addiction when he did this. Katansky is already serving a 9-year prison sentence for 2 counts of burglary. Tonight, 4 people are recovering from gunshot wounds after a man walked into a Walmart in Ohio and started shooting. A terrified customer went live on Facebook in the parking lot.
If you guys know anybody who's at Beaver Creek Walmart right now, call and check on your people. It's literally just shopping for Thanksgiving stuff, and this guy walked right past me with an assault rifle and he started shooting. I don't know if he shot people or if people are dead.
Alicia Rings said the man fired 10 times. The shooting happened at the Walmart store in Beaver Creek, just outside of Dayton. Police say the shooter turned the gun on himself after shooting 4 people. That shooter is dead.
I'm so lucky to be alive. He literally walked right past me.
The FBI and ATF are assisting local and state police with this investigation. Sadly, we have another rampage to tell you about, this time outside of Boise, Idaho. A 21-year-old man is under arrest after he apparently caused a major disturbance at a gym. Ada County deputies say Jacob Roberts was intimidating 2 teens who were working out on Sunday afternoon when a woman intervened and told him to stop. The woman and teens say they had to barricade themselves inside a room to keep Roberts from coming after them. Roberts was apparently irate and tried to run when bystanders called police. Those witnesses say he actually ran headlong into the front door, but didn't break through. So he pulled out a large knife and used that to break a plate glass window. Deputies found him about 30 minutes later, and when they caught him, he allegedly tried to bite a deputy. Roberts faces charges of malicious property damage, assault, and resisting arrest. This is a Morgan & Morgan legal alert. Evidence shows that Google has allegedly violated the privacy of millions of Americans via incognito mode. Your personal information and data may have been unfairly collected and used for profit. As America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan has recovered more than $20 billion in compensation for clients, and they may be able to help you fight for justice. If you've used incognito mode in Google's Chrome internet browser, you can find out if you have a claim in only a few clicks by visiting forthepeople.com/LC-Google. In Washington state, a husband and wife are likely dead, and the man accused of murdering and kidnapping them is in jail. No one has heard from or seen DeVito and Karen Cope since November 13th, after one of them didn't show up for work. Thurston County Sheriff's deputies went to their house in a suburb of Olympia to check on them. What they found there made them think that someone had hurt the couple. A man who knew them now faces charges of first-degree murder and kidnapping. Cope's sister told King 5 out of Seattle that the suspect is a disgruntled tenant. In a news release, the sheriff said what they found at the house led them to believe that the Copes didn't survive the attack. Their bodies have not yet been found. The name of the man accused of murdering the couple has not been released. The Florida grandmother accused of ordering the murder of her ex-son-in-law because she wanted her grandsons to move closer to her appears in court to answer to the murder charges.
We would stipulate to no bond at this time without prejudice and the right to revisit with Judge Everett, which is the judge assigned to the case.
So Ms. Adelson, at this time, you're being held with no bond on count 1. Your bond will remain $25,000 on count 2 and $25,000 on count 3. As a condition of your bond, you'd have no contact with the victim's family. You'd have no contact with any co-defendants and no contact with any witnesses that are listed in the probable cause affidavit. Do you understand those conditions?
I do, Your Honor.
That was Donna Adelson appearing in court today via Zoom in Tallahassee. She arrived at the Leon County Jail around 1:30 a.m. after the long drive from Miami to Tallahassee. So she's now in the same jail as her son, Charlie. A Leon County grand jury returned an indictment last week charging Adelson with murder and conspiracy in the death of her ex-son-in-law, Dan Markell, back in 2014. You'll recall a jury found her son Charlie guilty of the same charges earlier this month. Donna is the suspected mastermind behind Dan Markell's murder. Prosecutors say she wanted her 2 grandsons that Markell shared with her daughter Wendy to move to Miami, but Markell wasn't having it. 3 other people are serving time in prison for their parts in carrying out the hit. They're Catherine Magbanwa, who is Charlie's ex-girlfriend, and Sigfredo Garcia and Latin Kings gang leader Luis Rivera. I spoke with Dan Markell's mother, Ruth, about Donna's arrest and her grandsons.
We're moving at a pace that's fast, considering we're waiting for 9 years. And here's our real score here. I hate to put it that way, but I've done 3 trials, 4 convictions, and an arrest in this last little while. So it's been a very busy journey. The sad part of all this, of course, is there's 2 adolescent boys, Danny's boys, Benjamin and Lincoln, who are now 14 and 13, and probably really just learning about most of the horrific situation.
Dan Markell was Ruth and Phil Markell's only son. You can watch our full interview with Ruth Markell later this week on a special episode of Crime Fix. We have another grandmother accused of murder. Police in Alabama say this woman, Mary Jordan, confessed to killing her grandson. The 76-year-old is now charged with murder. The shooting happened last week in Pritchard, Alabama, north of Mobile. Police say Mary Jordan shot 38-year-old Dana Jordan several times. According to court documents, she was allegedly angry about something that happened the night before. Jordan's neighbors say they were shocked and that this doesn't match up with the person they knew. And in Georgia, a mother is accused of slitting her baby's throat so he could, quote, be with God and Jesus. April Short is the wife of a U.S. Staff Army sergeant. He got a text from her last week, which he says caused him concern for their youngest child. He was on duty at Fort Eisenhower Army Installation near Augusta and rushed back home. He says Short had barricaded herself inside a bedroom with all 3 children. There was an 11-year-old, a 6-year-old, and the infant. Short eventually tried to run from the home with the 11 and 6-year-olds. The father ran inside to find the little baby wrapped in plastic with wounds to its neck. The baby was rushed to the hospital, but sadly died. Short is charged with 1 count of murder with an aggravating circumstance of child abuse. Now to another disturbing motive for murder. Police in Joliet, Illinois, say a 71-year-old man actually used his walker to kill a fellow resident at a nursing home because of an argument over a washing machine. Investigators arrived at Salem Village Nursing and Rehabilitation around 9:30 Thursday for a report of an assault. They found the 61-year-old victim unresponsive on the floor. Police later found out that William Paschal had gotten angry about the victim using the washing machine and allegedly punched him several times before using the victim's own walker to hit him. Paschal is now in jail without bail, charged with first-degree murder. A camera will be allowed at the trial of accused quadruple murderer Bryan Kohberger after all, but the judge and his staff are going to run the show. The decision came after Kohberger's attorneys asked Judge John Judge to order that cameras be removed from the courtroom because the media's cameras were focusing on Kohberger against the judge's instructions. Judge Judge issued a ruling on this on Monday. A media coalition, which had included Law&Crime, argued in favor of keeping a camera in the room. Judge appeared to give each side something they wanted, since Kohberger's lawyers asked that if a camera was in the courtroom, it be placed in the back of the room. Kohberger faces the possibility of the death penalty if convicted of the murders of Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle in November of 2022 in their home off campus. Judge Judge entered a not guilty plea on Kohberger's behalf earlier this year. Right now, there are not any future hearings scheduled, and a trial date has not yet been set. Kohberger is being held without bail at the Latah County Jail. And with Judge Judge running the cameras now, he is going to allow the proceedings to be live streamed on his YouTube channel. And we, of course, will bring you coverage of all of those hearings. A 17-year-old girl from Ohio will be tried as an adult for the murder of her older boyfriend's mother. Let me tell you, if everything I'm about to tell you is 100% true, it's absolutely unbelievable. Prosecutors say Caitlin Coons told her 33-year-old boyfriend he had 5 hours to kill his mother, and if he didn't carry out the crime, she would do it for him. Police said that's exactly what happened. They say Coons confessed to strangling Nicole Jones as she looked inside her refrigerator and then hit her in the head with a rock several times. And if the story couldn't get any worse or more disturbing, the prosecutor says Jones's son, Jonathan Jones, who was dating Coons, helped put his mom's body in a dumpster. Then Coons and Jones took off for Mexico, where they were found back in May. Coons faces incredibly serious charges, including aggravated murder and abuse of a corpse. Jones had already been charged with child endangerment and pandering for his relationship with the teenager Coons. The GPS monitor he was wearing as part of his bail conditions on those charges actually helped police trace where he and Coons went after Nicole Jones was murdered. Local media quotes Coons' lawyer as saying she's actually covering for Jones, despite sending a text message to the group home where she was staying, saying that she was on the run. And finally, some terrifying and awful details are coming to light about the murder of a popular restaurant manager in California after the suspect appeared in court. Tatum Goodwin's body was found behind Carmelita's restaurant in Laguna Hills, California, more than a week ago. Now police say Dino Rojas Moreno tried to kidnap Goodwin and dragged her body behind the restaurant where she worked and beat her to death with a fire extinguisher. When police found Goodwin, a sandbag had been placed on her head. It's not clear whether Rojas Moreno knew Goodwin before he attacked her. Friends said at a vigil that Goodwin was a great friend who wanted to spread love and happiness. Rojas Moreno remains behind bars, where he's being held without bail. And that's it for Crime Fix on this Tuesday, November 21st, 2023. I'm Angenette Levy. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.